Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today, we've got the forces of the Custodies facing the Drukhari in this matched play. Battle report. Let's dive in.
The Dark Kid.
And we're here at the Mini Wargaming Studio in the Mech Shop. Thank you, Mini Wargaming, for letting us do a filming here at the studio, which is really fun. We're going to do a battle report. It's kind of cool. This is Mark. Some of you in Toronto might know him. He's going to tell you his address later. No, I'm just kidding. We're playing Adeptus Custodies, lots of bikes with hurricane bolters versus my Drukhari. We're practicing for the Can Hammer Team Tournament, which means we did player-placed terrain, or player-optimized terrain, for the amount of terrain that's going to be at the event, which is kind of cool. And we've got some Custodies. It's a pretty rough mission for me.
Pushes classes up intently.
There you go. The captions says, total badass. Other than that, let's dive into the armies and see what we're going to be fighting today. But you excited, Mark?
Hell yeah.
That's right. Anyway, let's dive in. And here we have 2,000 points of Drukhari. This is my competitive list, version 2.0. Let's dive in to see what I have brought. It is a triple patrol army with the Cabal of the Black Heart, Prophets of the Flesh, and Witch Cult of Strife. I'll start with the Cabal of the Black Heart. Archon Skari has the Gin Blade, Hatred Eternal, Blast Pistol, and he's got a big Court of the Archon, 9 models strong, and a unit of Trueborn, because he is a Master Archon with 2 Blasters and a Dark Lance. 2 units of 5 Cabalite Warriors round out that detachment as well, with no upgrades. Then we have a Ravager, 3 Lances in the heavy support slot, 3 Raiders as dedicated transports, and a single Venom, and then both units of Incubi that you can see there with their claves in the units, in the detachment as well. Then we have a Homunculus, who is Prophets of the Flesh. He has the Vexator Mask, of course, for the No Overwatch and Fight Last aura, as well as the Twisted Animator to bring back Rax and the Hemoxites, which he has 10 of, with a bunch of upgrades to make them relatively expensive, and 2 other units of 5 Rax as well to round out that detachment. Last but not least, we have the detachment of Cult of Strife with the Master Succubus with Competitive Edge and Triptych Whip. We do have 5 Witches in that detachment, as well as 6 Mandrakes, and rounding out the whole army, 2 units of 8 Hellions. There you have it, 2,000 points. And here we have 2,000 points of
Emperor's Chosen.
Oh, Emperor's Chosen. Mark, take it away. What have you brought in your list today?
All right, I've got the Orc Exemplar and 5 up Feel No Pain Jet Bike Captain.
Yep.
I gave everyone that's a jet bike here a Hurricane Bolter.
Oh, so many Hurricane Bolters.
Yeah, and just normal WYSIWYG, Spearguard, everything has a Misericordia, obviously.
Yep.
My banner has count as an extra 2 models for OBSEC, and he has the Deny ability with +1. Sisters, obviously, -1 Deny. Trajan with his stock options, and those are the characters. So 6 jet bikes with Hurricane Bolters, 3 jet bikes with Hurricane Bolters. So that's 2 units there. 2 Caladius tanks for some long-range punch. And the banner, I forgot to mention, is the -1 to hit banner.
Awesome. So the dense terrain banner. There you have it.
I also have redeploy 2 units, Custodes mark on the captain, so I can redeploy 2 or put them in strategic reserves.
I love it. That's excellent. Well, let's dive in. We'll talk about secondaries. Mark, what secondaries did you pick?
I took the big brain move of no prisoners, raised banners for a safe 5 at least, and then what was my last one? Stranglehold, because I'm playing Custodies.
Yes, and you are playing Custodies. That's very, very true. Just need to, and you need to go into the middle anyway. I've decided to take Stranglehold because it is a test match. Now, it's always useful to test things. Usually, against Custodies, I would go for engage on all fronts, because it would allow me to not engage the Custodies to score points, which is the best way to play against Custodies right now, is just don't fight them. Just avoid them at all costs. but I want to see what would happen in this style of mission. I do have lots of units to throw away, so I'm going to see if it's possible for me to score at least 9 points on Stranglehold, which is what I'm aiming for. So that's 3 times over the course of the game. So we'll see what we can do. It also allows me to concentrate and not have to overextend. So I'm testing a theory with that because I don't want to have to be all over the table, because then he can just pick off all my units that I commit to try get that secondary. I have decided to take to the last. My to the last choices are my Trueborn, my unit of Hemoxites, which has been upgraded to be a to the last because it's more expensive than my 8 strong Helion units, and the Court of the Archon. So those are my 3 to the last. And last but not least, I did retrieve Nachmund data, which will be an easy 4 and potentially an 8. And if later in the game, if there's openings, then it'll definitely be more of a 12, which is usually good because I play Elder. So that's always a fun one. Well, I guess it is that fateful time where we get to roll to see who has to go first. And the person who goes second in this mission gets just 5 points for holding the middle. So it's all, and it all goes to primary. So I'm going to assume you're going to get 45 points for primary regardless, because I'm playing against Custodies. But I'm going to give you a battle nevertheless. That's right, folks. This is Custodies versus Drukhari. Let's see who has to go first. I rolled a 4. You have to go first. Come at me, bro. Let's go. And here we are after deployment. I was the defender, so I got to deploy first. And because of the way that we placed the train, it was player-optimized terrain. So Mark and I took turns putting a piece of terrain down back and forth. For anybody who's wondering, we are playing Abandoned Sanctuaries. That's mission 21 from the GT mission pack, Nachmund. So you can't forward deploy or like a pre-game move into no man's land. You get bonus points for holding the middle of the table and killing units in the middle of the table, which is kind of annoying against a bunch of Custodies. So let's see what happens. I've decided to kind of split my army into 3 different sort of like pockets. I have 1 pocket here, 1 pocket here, 1 pocket here. So we've got Trueborn, Succubus, Incubi, Cabalites, and Rax in that little pocket there. We have the Archon, Incubi, Witches in that raider, Hemoxites, Homunculus, 1 unit of Helions here, and the Mandrakes on the 2nd floor there. Then we've got the Court of the Archon hiding in this building, a Venom that's actually tucked in there quite nicely with 5 Cavalite Warriors, the Ravager, and then 8 more Helions over here. In Deep Strike Reserve, I did put 5 racks in the webway. And then let's take a look at the Custodies. Now, of course, this is an illusion because they're such tactical geniuses that they can redeploy 2 units. Yeah. So after you see who goes first or second, you can choose for free to basically redeploy them, put them in reserve, you know, stop me from really being able to do anything on the first turn. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do.
Could be worse. We could be blips.
And I hate blips so much. Blips are like the pain of they're so...
At least it has to be done in my turn.
That's right. Caladius, Guard, Trajan, big block of 6 bikes with the captain, 3 bikes with the banner. That's giving everybody -1 to hit aura. So when I shoot him, I'll be -1 to hit. Then we got 3 more Guard, basically in that building with the 5 Sisters of Silence and the
they're
other
all on the ground
Caladius.
floor.
They're all on the ground floor.
And then this guy's tucked in between the legs of the Caladius.
He is, absolutely. And there we have it. So you have picked your katas. Yes. Your 3 katas is before we decide who goes first.
Yeah, it's really good. So
you went into Dakatari, which and then you picked the extra D6 advance.
Yes.
So you did advance them. You put them, redeploy them on the line, moved them up to take the objective. You've moved both your Caladius tanks up with a line on the Ravager because you really want to pop some of the Dark Lances because you know that they're one of the most dangerous things that I have against you. You've decided to just put your big captain up front to be like, come get some.
Yes,
because he does have a 5-up Feel No Pain, and he's just really annoying to deal with in general. However, over here we have the staging area of the Bikes of Doom behind this big wall, just ready to jump out, like murder anything next turn when he decides to auto-advance 6 and advance and shoot all of his guns, which is kind of that's what I'm assuming is going to happen after having played against Custodies once or twice. Then again, Trajan could decide he just wants to do something different. So, the aim here, of course, to get Stranglehold. Trajan has started putting up a banner on that middle objective over there, but he's not going to use the reroll, so he doesn't care about losing his reroll. And then, of course, trying to kill a Ravager to take down some of my shooting. But the first turn normally is quite tame, especially when you have player-optimized terrain, and you can just really kind of, like, focus on what you need to focus on. Okay, so with that, we'll be back after the shooting phase. Will the Custodies tanks kill a Ravager? We'll see. We'll see. End of the shooting phase. I did lightning fast reactions, which did mean that he had to shoot both of them at my Ravager. However, I needed to pass one more invul save, and the Ravager would have lived with 1 wound remaining. But that was a command point that Trajan did not refund to a reroll wound roll to statistically make it very improbable for me to survive. The Ravager has gone down just because of the nose he could see all the way from 60 inches away. And is that your first turn?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So with that, you get your Stranglehold for 3.
Yep.
You did kill a tank, but that's not a no prisoner, so you don't care about that. And you have successfully put a banner on that objective in the back, so we'll put a little token on there to make sure that we know that it has a banner on it.
Well, there's literally a banner on it.
That is exactly how that works. So with that, let's dive into Drukhari turn number 1. Okay, end of the movement phase. I decided to get the Succubus, the Incubi, out of that raider as well as the Cabalites. They've just moved up this way. Their aim is to shoot and then fire and fade onto the objective. So I'll have 5 bodies onto the objective. However, I need to kill at least 1 Custodes. So if I can kill one, that means I can steal it away, which will give me my Stranglehold, even if I don't take the middle. The middle here, I just need for the bonus points. So I'm just sending them. I need 3 of them to survive this combat to take that away because he's not OBSEC. So I just, that's what I'm hoping for there.
Sorry, hold on. What was the plan to get the infantry on there?
So you shoot and then I move 7 inches.
You shoot and then fire.
Yes, fire and fade, correct. So they're going to be doing that. That's why I measured 4 inches onto the objective so they can do it through the dents. Now, this raider, I could have done the enhanced sails to move 22 inches up and then charge because it's Cabal of Black Heart, so it can go up and tie up these things. However, I need the Dark Lance, so I'm going to risk a longer charge and then potentially just pile in, consolidate to attack both of them. So, but I do need to try and make that charge work. I just need the Dark Lance.
What did we say the charge was?
I think it's he's under 8, so I believe it would be a 7. But I'll remeasure it in a second. Okay, and then we've got this unit has just moved out here. I can see this guard unit with the Dark Lance. I did try the eviscerating flyby on the bike with the Hellions. I only got 1 mortal wound, and of course, Empress Chosen did not care. So, that's okay. You know what? We'll see if what they can do against that shield captain as we move into my shooting phase. Wish me luck. Let's see what I can do here. We're back off to my shooting phase and into my charge phase, as you can see. This Custodies lived with 5 wounds remaining. I was able to kill the 1 guy I needed to kill with my first Dark Lance shot, which then meant all of the other Dark Lances and Blasters went into 1, but he'd passed a couple of clutch invulnerable saves, so he still has a Custodies with 5 wounds remaining. The Hellions have been able to charge in. However, all my shooting did put 4 damage on with just a bunch of little poison shots and stuff. We were able to bring him down.
It was embarrassing, really.
It was a little embarrassing. But you know what? Chip damage is how I deal with stuff a lot of the times. I just roll dice at it and see what happens. However, I am also going to attempt to charge this Raider into that Caladius Grav Tank. All right, let's see what I roll. Definitely not going to be a 4. So that doesn't matter there.
Command people.
I will.
Hold on, do I want to Overwatch this?
You can if you want. Who knows?
I get like 2
dun,
hits.
Dun, dun.
Nah, go ahead. I don't care if you want.
You know what? I'm going to CP reroll it. Let's see if I can make it. Hiya! Ooh, that'll make it.
Ooh.
So I'm going to move. I'm just going to stay out of 3 inches of those guys over there. Like that. And he's just going to hang out right here. Excellent. That's how that works. Good job, little Raider. Good job. You know what's good for you. That does mean I only have 2 command points remaining. So we're going to dive into the combat phase. I'm going to spend both to give them a blade well placed, which will give them +1 AP. So they have base AP 2. On 6s, they'll be AP 3. Well, as you can see, the Hellions were able to kill him. They did 7 wounds, and then you actually failed a lot of invul saves with the AP2. That AP2
you only put
came
7 on, and I failed like 5 of them.
You did. You failed 5 out of 7, and then this 2 damage just nuked him. If I had 1 more command point right now, but I needed it to reroll that charge, I would have given them a 4-up invulnerable save for the rest of the battle round for evisceration or invigorated by evisceration or whatever it's called. Great names for the stratagems. I like it. So with that, the Ravager did put the Raider put 1 wound on 1 Custodies, and I was able to pile in and consolidate to tag both of the Custodies tanks to just at least make it annoying and force some CP expenditure and stuff. You decided not to fight on death to save your command points. I have 0 command points. You have 9 command points.
This is the way.
This is the way that we're going to play this. However, I was able to score. I take this objective. I killed a unit that was within 6, and I held the middle, which I think is 3 points. And I have my Stranglehold. But most importantly, I have taken you off most of the objectives and have dropped you down to 4 primary points as we move in to battle round number 2 with Custodies turn number 2 and your... I did, yeah, with these Kabalite Warriors. They are indeed back here. Okay, so what is your next kata?
So I'm going to rearrange them. I'm going to go into Rendax.
Okay.
So 6 is to hit automatically wound.
Okay. Monsters and vehicles. Okay.
Monsters and vehicles, yeah. And the other one doesn't matter. So
right now you want to kill my vehicles. It's the time to kill some transports. Yeah. And crack open.
I'll go into the double one. So +1 strength and combat. Sorry, I'm going to select the one that's +1 strength and combat.
Oh, okay. Not the exploding 6s.
Yeah, but now I'm going to pop it for Emperor's Chosen, so I get both.
Oh, you get both.
Yeah.
So you get +1 strength in combat, and you get 6s to hit, automatically wound vehicles and monsters.
That only affects the infantry and the bikers.
Okay, cool. Well, with that, let's dive into turn number 2 for the Custodies. Turn 2 for the Custodies. Mark, what have you done here?
Moved most of the... Oh, sorry, this actually has to move. Sorry.
Oh, they're still moving, so we're not done the movement phase.
We're not done.
So I'll explain a little bit what's going on here. The Sisters of Silence have moved out. They've got bolters. They want to get OBSEC onto the objectives. Mark's trying to stop me from scoring as much as possible, moving into the mid-game. Did spend the 1 CP to fall back and shoot with the unit, a.k.a. this Custodies. I did Vect it, so that later in the game, if he wants to do it with any of his bikes, it'll cost him 2 command points, just because if I can make it more expensive for them to shoot with that million Hurricane Bolters, that'd be great, because they're like the perfect weapon to just destroy me. Especially all my infantry. Other than that, he's going to try and potentially do a double charge here, see what happens with that. He's very weary of my Succubus and the Incubi over here, so we're definitely looking at what that will do. You stayed in combat with this Custodies tank here, but you can always charge it or do something there to kill it. And you have all 9 bikes just lined up nicely up against the line there. So let's see what happens as we move into the shooting phase as well. There you go. Now they've moved. Excellent. Oh, and then he put the 3 guard on that side over there. So he's going to be getting a Stranglehold. He has to kill / take the middle for points. So that's kind of what he's looking at here. And with that, we'll dive into the shooting phase. And here we are after the turn. Hellions did die, and then, of course, so did the Kabalite Warriors and the Raider, which is completely fine, and, of course, the Venom, which is kind of how that worked. But you did kill a unit and took the middle, so you do have your 3 points there. You also got your Stranglehold for 3, and you've got a couple... I think you've got a point now for... you've got a point for... no prisoners as well. So now we've got 9 jet bikes in front of me that I have to deal with.
And no Dark Lances.
Well, very few Dark Lances. I still have some. I still have some, but definitely not as many as I did before. I like, that's the thing. The bikes are just, they're very hard to deal with. We'll see what they do in the balance up slate update, but let's see what the Drukhari can do as we move into the next turn. So far, we have 4 objective secure models on there. We have 4 objective secured models on here. She's not supposed to be on? Okay. 5 objective secured models on there, and then 6 objective secured models on here. So he's making it very hard for me to get onto the objectives. He has his mobility still intact. And yeah, let's see what I can do as we move into my turn, number 2. End of my turn. Okay, so because the jet bikes, I don't really have a solution for the jet bikes, especially at least now because of how Custodies are. So we're just going to basically charge into here, get some OBSEC onto that, potentially lots of bodies. I need more than 4 bodies on there to take that objective. That Raider dislodged the Incubi, and then the Archon stayed in, and the Trueborn that were in here were able to move into that Raider. And then over here, Witches got out of that Raider, moved in advanced. Ideally, I'm just trying to get my Stranglehold in these 3 corners over here, and we'll see. And then, of course, my mandrakes actually showed up back here for retrieve Knackmund data. So that'll be my second retrieve for 4 points there. So with that, let's dive into the shooting phase. I'm going to try and kill at least one Custodies. I can't just like let it fly around, but I do need to start trying to kill some of these jet bikes. So we'll see what I can do there. However, next turn is really going to be the thing that stings the most. So hopefully we can mitigate some of that. Okay, wish me luck. Let's go into my shooting phase. End of the shooting phase. Well, as you can see, charge phase. He did Tanglefoot the witches. He rolled a 1, and it forced me to re-roll the charge. Because I actually failed a 5-inch charge, which became a 6, with a 5, which meant that the Tanglefoot forced me to spend the CP to re-roll there. Over here, we've got this whole thing just fighting over here. The raid even charged in too. So everybody's just charging in. We're going to do as much as we can, see what we can do here. I did kill that Custodies who exploded and did a little bit of damage, but the 4-up mortal wounds is just, denial is really, really good with all that. So, yeah, I'm trying to get my Stranglehold. I've got OBSEC on there now. I've got OBSEC on here. I'm going to start fighting with the Hellions, just in case he decides to interrupt with them. You know, at least it gives me some fighting to, like, take some attacks potentially away from that. And with that, let's dive into my fight phase. So because I am on the back foot, I'm trying to do some things like technical plays that might keep me in the game. First of all, I was very lucky I didn't kill this last Custodian. The Custodians did interrupt and attack the Court of the Archon, killing 2 of the Urgles and putting a wound on another, thanks to the Feel No Pains, which is really good. However, now he's surrounded and he's got witches there, which means if he tries to fall back, even with no retreat, there's a chance he can't, which means if that happens, he can't shoot me, which will be really, really useful here as well. On this side, I'm essentially trying to do the same thing, forcing the issue with the Succubus. So I killed all of the Sisters of Silence with the Incubi, and then piled in consolidated with pretty much everything else. I did base them with the Succubus, so they can't attack both of them into the OBSEC units I have on that objective to make sure I get my Stranglehold, because I need to make sure I get those points. However, he decided to respect the fact that the Succubus can prevent that unit from falling back from combat as well. So he's attacking the Succubus with everything, and I have 8 saves to make. These are 2 damage each from the spears and the swords and stuff, which means
you need to make 5.
Are the swords strength 6 as well?
Yeah, everything is strength 6.
So I need to make, I can only fail 2 of these. Okay, I do have a 4-up invul. Let's see what the Succubus can do. Ah, she is going to go down. I don't have any CP, but she does go down, aka I didn't even get to use her this game. But it was worth the play against that many Hurricane Bolters. But I do get to keep my Stranglehold, which is okay with me. And it does force him to sort of like figure out which side he's going to go on, etc., etc. But with that, I'll get my Stranglehold. I don't hold the middle, so I don't get any bonus points. And you do owe me no morales on there because I leadership 11, so that doesn't matter.
So how does my fallback work there? So
if you want a desperate breakout, the way that it works, you spend 2 CP for desperate breakout, then you roll a dice. On a 1, he dies. On a 2+, you attempt to fall back. Yeah. If you win the roll off, you can fall back. If not, you can't fall back, and you stay there. Okay. And that's it. And then if you...
Either way, I spend 2 CP?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, so the 2 CP is the big thing, but yes, it is. It's hard to do with witches doing no retreat as well.
Yeah, because you win ties? Or
no, we re-roll ties. Okay. When you do a roll-off, you have to... There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser, so draws are re-rolled. Okay. But with that... Sorry,
do you have a plus to yours?
I do not have a plus. Okay. There's no Chardonnette and Impaler, which I can only have if I have 10 strong or a Succubus. Okay. So with that, we'll dive into your turn number 3. And I couldn't stop you from getting the 8 points this time. Okay, let's dive into, and you go up to 6 command points. Oh my goodness, 6 command points to my 0. Let's dive into, they still has all the jet bikes, which is literally how he wins the game. So we'll see how long I can last here. Clutch moment in the game. We're back here at the middle of movement turn 3. So Trajan has moved up and put a banner on, or started to do the action for banners on that objective. These bikes have essentially just moved their 14 inches up over here to potentially charge and or shoot. And then over here we've got the 2 strong unit fell back, but the bikes are just sitting around together with the Caladius Grav Tank, just zoning out that back corner to try and stop me from getting my Knackmund. So you have 2 command points. So you have 4 command points, sorry. You're going to see if you...
I spent 2 of them.
Oh, you did spend them. You did not get them back because you did roll them. So he's going to try and get away from combat with a no escape. So we're going to show you how it works.
A fallback, a 50% chance.
So it means that even if you're surrounded, you can ignore enemy models as you move to run around. But first, you have to roll for every model that is basically in that unit. And on a 1, they die. So he's going to roll. And we'll see. On a 1, he just dies.
50% chance for me to do nothing and spend 2 CP. But it's funny because so we're going to do it.
Okay, let's do it. Does he die?
No.
Okay, he does not. So now the next part of this is a roll-off because the witches have the no escape rule. He's trying to make a fullback move, which means he has to beat the dice roll of a 2. I know. There's a 1 in 3 chance we re-roll. No! I rolled a 1. He stays right where he is. Yes, good job, witches. That means... I love that rule so much. Okay. Yeah. And so...
I didn't want to do it, but I did it for fun.
Now, normally if you move and you can't get out of engagement range, you die. But because he didn't move, he wasn't able or allowed to move, it is just... He just stays there and he doesn't just instantly die. Okay, so with that was 2 CP to try and shoot with a bunch of hurricane bolters. But that's not the case now.
All right,
so we're going to be after the shooting phase. End of the shooting phase. As you can see, the incubi all died. The Rax did survive with 2 models remaining. And then this raider just... That's right. And this exploded. This just exploded and killed a Rack. And the Trueborn have had to get out again. And they lost 1 model. So, excellent. But Archon Skari is over there now as well, ready to go fight, do some work, do some damage. And then over here, we've got a giant massive jetpacks. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Charge everything.
Yep. And they make it with a 9. They're just charging all 3 units because they can. They're just going to come in and fight. Okay. Well, this will definitely be interesting. Let's see what happens here. The Mandrakes is still at large. They're okay. And I still have like some anti-tank weapons left, which is good. And we'll basically see what happens as we move into the turn here. Okay. Well, end of the turn. The 2 Racks did die, and then you were able to pile in and just tag the Trueborn, which is good, because it forces me to use a CP to fall back and potentially shoot with them. You didn't get Archon Skari involved. You still have 1 bike here with 4 wounds left. You have a couple of wounds here as well. You've got Trajan out there. You've got these bikes that charged in. They killed all the Hellions, like, instantly. And then the core of the Archon almost died, but it did survive. Like, it almost died. There's 3 models remaining there. I still have the witches here as well. And with that, we're moving into my turn. Okay, so it's my turn. I do have OPSEC on there, though, because you didn't kill the witches, because you needed to kill the Hellions. You did lose a bike.
Morale check here.
They're Leadership 9.
Okay.
They only took 3.
Did they? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
two Urgle and a Slith. They're good. That's why the Lamian is so good in a Core of the Archon. But this Slith alone killed a bike and put 3 wounds on another. Amazing. And then I had 1 crazy witch do 4 out of 4 wounds into the jet bikes. But he passed all of his saves pretty much. Okay, so with that, we're going to dive in to my turn. Let's see what I can do as we move into turn number 3. I get 8 points for primary, though, which is kind of nice. Okay, so here we are. They only rolled a 1 for their advance, so they just moved out. I've got my liquefier guns. Hopefully, I need to try and take a couple of these bikes down. Maybe 1. If I can kill 1 more bike, that's 12 shots that I don't have to worry about. I've got the Incubi and the Homunculus ready to potentially charge Trajan. I did spend the 1 CP to fall back and shoot with the Trueborn. And then I've got the Archon, and we've got a couple of things here to deal with. Okay, so, and I've got a Custodes. There's lots of stuff. I did do my 3rd Retrieve Nachmund data with the little rack unit in the back. They did teleport, but Mark did a great job just screening me out of this corner over here. It's hard to do when you're playing a Dawn of War deployment as well. But with that, let's dive into the shooting phase. I did fall back with a bunch of stuff over here just to hide, like nobody's business, because I can hold that objective and hope for my stranglehold and just stay out of heroic intervention range, as well as forcing him to next turn split his forces and try and like go multiple directions. That's why I'm trying to fight over there, over here, over here, over here, and I'm like all over the place to at least try him to like spread his forces a little thinner, even though it's funny because a single character can wipe out a whole like part of the army, aka Trajan, because Trajan is amazing. Leave a like for Trajan and how balanced he is. Yeah.
That's 2 likes.
That's 2 likes. That's right. Can we do more than 2? Okay, let's do the shooting phase. Okay. Okay, so I was able to shoot them to death with the Trueborn, which was actually really good. Archon has charged in, decided not to overwatch. You did Tanglefoot the Hemoxites to stop me from putting OPSEC on that objective.
And it worked.
And it worked. I made a 10-inch charge. I did send the Homunculus in because I'm going to make Trajan fight last, so he can't interrupt with Trajan. So it just stops me from having to roll the Tormentors. Over there doesn't matter. And we're just going to go ahead and do Archon Skari.
No rerolls.
Of course, no rerolls because he has Hatred Eternal, forces you to use it, of course. So he does have his 7 attacks.
Raises glasses and tactical.
That's right. Tactical glass raising. He hits on 2s though. He can't reroll this though. Okay. And he does wound on 5s because he is strength 4. And these are AP 3/4. That's pretty cool. Nope.
Nice.
Nothing.
Is this fight last on me too?
No, he does not make you fight last. But he doesn't. He didn't do anything there. Sad.
So
we'll come back after this. Okay, so as you can see, what happened with Trajan? What happened with Trajan?
He imploded again.
He did.
He has a habit of doing that.
The Incubi just murdered Trajan. They just like nuked him. Like even with the moment shackle and everything. Oh wait, you just failed a lot of saves.
It happens.
Which is big. That's actually huge. No more CP regen, at least for the end game and stuff like that. I was able to kill the one bike. The Archon didn't do any damage into the bikes with his Gym Blade. Not at all. No rerolls. Amazing. The bikes did kill 4 of the court of them, but they did not fail morale. And then right here at the end, the Gin Blade. I need to roll, and on a 1 he dies. He lived. Good. Which means that and then the Hemoxites over here. Okay. So at the end, I will get my Stranglehold. I get 3 points for the bonus this time, which is actually a big deal. And I get my 3rd Retrieve Nachmund data as we move into turn number 4 for the Custodies. What an absolute bloodbath this has been. Let's see what the Custodies do as we move into the 4th turn.
Oh.
Custodies turn number 4. Caladius has just moved up, touched the objective. Because I vected the fallback and shoot on the bikes, he did make this unit Solar Watch and then decided to use 2 CP to fall back and shoot, and then 1 CP to use them, make them Solar Watch, so it allows them to fall back and charge. So essentially from Archon Skari, he's moved out, has Hurricane Bolters, can charge in, do a whole bunch of damage over here. This unit of bikes is essentially just made sure that charge is almost impossible into the Hemoxites. I mean, impossible to fail. Yeah. And then, of course, got some Hurricanes to shoot as well. So we've got some cool stuff happening here as we move into turn number 4. It's down to the wire. So, Custodes versus Drukhari, always a very crazy match. Okay, so end of the turn. So first of all, we had 36 Hurricane Bolter shots, kill 0 Hemoxites. We had 1 Hurricane Bolter shot, kill 4 witches, left 1 alive, which forced the bikes to charge the witches and kill them. He didn't want to risk a long charge over here. He would have made it, but he didn't declare them, so he decided not to engage them to not give me free attacks over here. And then I think this Caladius just murdered all of those Incubi. I don't know if we discussed that. This was the clutch here. You made them Solo Watch, so no reroll. You only attacked with 2 into 3 Cabalite Warriors, did 5 saves. 5 saves with the lances, and I passed 4 out of 5 invulnerable saves. And then the Misericordias killed 1 more, and they're fearless. I know, Mark's so salty right now. He's like, I have...
That wasn't even a gamble.
It's like, you should have killed 3 Cavalite Warriors.
Right, tell them why that sucks.
It sucks because this is one of my to the lasts. It also prevents your Stranglehold for the turn because you only hold 2 objectives now. And it also means I get 8 points for my primary. This guy surviving, freaking champ. However, ideally, Mark was like, I should have just attacked him with everything. Okay, so with that, let's dive in to... I was kind of hoping he'd kill at least 1 Hemoxite so I could regenerate him and put him on the objective.
You do that in your turn?
In the command phase, yeah. Oh, okay. It would have been really cool to get on the objective there.
Start of the command phase or end of it?
Start of the command phase.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
It's so good. He regenerates Hemoxites.
Well, that would have been a gotcha, so...
Yeah. That would have definitely been. But yeah, he has... That's his Warlord trait. He picks a unit. He brings back D3 of them every single turn. Okay, so let's dive into my turn number... 4. Yeah, it's turn 4. Okay, so here we are. He just fell back. I'm gonna keep my command point, so he's not gonna fall back and shoot. They advanced. They need a 9-inch charge to get into Caladius over here. I did advance the Rax, sure. This is a bit of a gamble on my end because I need to make a 6-inch charge over here, but he doesn't have any command points to
actually
tangle
have
for
this
me.
command point,
Oh, it's a secret command point. Trajan left one on the ground.
When you kill a custodian, they drop.
You kill them and drop them, they pick them up. I get a free reroll now. Free command point for you. And I'm going to try and actually charge into here to just stop them from shooting their hurricanes.
I disagree, but like every gamble you've taken has paid out.
You know, I need to gamble. That's against Custodies. It's all about the gambles, and let's see if we can pull it off. Right. So with that, let's dive into the turn. Okay, so end of the turn. I wasn't able to kill any of these bikes to do any damage at all, even with that charge. However, I only lost one slith, and the Lamian took 2 damage. I was able to charge in. I put 4 wounds on him, surrounded him, essentially. But with that, I was able to hold the middle for bonus, and I was able to pull him down off of, just drop him down to 4 primary points at the end here as well, and pull down his banners. So 0 banners as we move into turn 5. They did fail their charge here, but he is going to be able to potentially take out 10 of my to the loss points, which will actually be a big swing at the end here. Well, let's dive into Custodies turn number 5 as the nitty-gritty happens. Okay, so end of the turn for the Custodies. Of course, the core of the Archon did die. They got full back and charge with Solar Watch CP, which it was very hard to keep him alive because the Caladius lent a bunch of guns all the way across the table. And then he charged in to just try and be annoying over here. They're just going to move on and go on to that objective at the end of the game. And then this guy, Banner, survived with 1 wound remaining. And then the Mandrake owes a morale, and the Mandrake is also fine. Can't on turn 5.
This is turn 5. Oh, right.
Yeah, that was turn 4. So the Mandrake is still fine. They're not Blackheart, no, because it's not a real space raid. So the Mercenaries for Hire don't get +1 unless it's a real space raid. Then they get +1 on the power from paint chart, which is really cool. You did move these guys over here to get that. So I don't score until the end of the turn. But with that, you do get your Stranglehold at the end of the game here. You didn't get an additional banner, and we'll count up as well your no prisoner points too. Okay, so at the end of the game, my Homunculus stays on that objective. They just move off of that objective to hold that. They hold this to get my Stranglehold and my Hold More, so that'll give me 12 points. Plus, I hold the middle of the table, 5 points at the end of the game. Plus, these Cabalites would have probably just moved up and grabbed that if I needed to, because they were just hiding behind this wall the whole game. But other than that, that will bring my total points for the Drukhari to 83, and with paint, the Custodies will be at 70 points. So it is a Drukhari victory, but what a crazy game. Very close.
Yeah, you did your team good.
I did. It was, so because we're testing for team events, we look at the point differential. It's a 13-point difference, which means I took 2 points away from Mark, which means it is a 12-8, which
also means you took 4 points, right?
Correct. Is worth as an extra point. So for the team, me being able to soak up the Custodies and get 2 points or 4 points from the Custodies is a big deal. So I'm going to like that. But we'll be back with an after-action report. And after-action report!
Yeah, that was a great game. Tested a few things out against elves, and I actually really like how the build works. Obviously, I need more practice with it. A few things caught me off guard that you wouldn't normally expect, because with Hurricane Bolters, it's a different map. Like, you putting the extra CP on the fallback and shoot, that came in way more important than, the stars literally aligned for that to pay off, and it did.
Because at the beginning of the game, I was like, if I do this, then later in the game, it's going to come up. Because those hurricanes...
It literally saved 48 hurricane shots. The guy not dying, that was just that fallback thing, that when I had that one guy survive, I wouldn't... Those 2 CP really mattered, and I know I was just doing it for the show. I don't think I would do that in a normal game. So that's going to be my excuse for
testing.
Doing
this is one of the thing when you test your matchups, you want to make sure you test it.
Yeah.
You try out silly things and see what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
I overextended the one flank.
Yeah, but it all paid off,
here.
Right?
It did pay off because those Cavalite warriors.
Cavalite
having, to be honest, I should have probably just sent the Incubi and kept my Succubus back just to have her in that back, just as a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just spent her way too quickly.
Exactly. So you kind of. So this actually happened in my game against Harlequins too, because I expect the guy to play KG, and then he suddenly just goes every single risk in the game you kind of just took. And I was like, oh wow, that was really sometimes you just got to do that, right? And that just means that's a sign of a good player. It's you know when to just throw all your chips in, and in this game specifically, it really paid off. But yeah, I don't maybe he'll do this at a team event. Maybe he'll be okay, well,
Last time, we'll see.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, how's my team doing? Okay, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of go, okay, can I push or do I have
do I need to win or does it
hold?
not matter? Right?
Exactly,
Yeah, exactly. So,
Very tight game, though. Custodies, incredibly strong. I like the Caladiuses in your list. They soaked up all my Dark Lance fire. Forced me to commit my Dark Lances, and then you were able to kill them.
Yeah.
You know, so that was really, really good.
I do miss the, like, actual obsec bodies that I have. So, like, I have to be a lot cagier, I guess, with
Do you think you can get away with 5 hard game bikes in that unit and then put like
so I can get 3 Terminators if I rearrange it and make one of the jet bikes units 5, or I can just drop the 6-man altogether and just take 5 Terminators, which have comparable firepower, just not the mobility.
Except with the banner, and which they have like sneaky mobility, which Mark
honestly,
uses all the time.
I'm not super sure that the banner is super worthwhile anymore, but
I don't. I personally don't like the banner, but you know, a lot of people still like the banner.
Yeah, and this list is kind of my deny bot, but maybe I don't play that.
Yeah, you could you could put that on like one of the Terminator guys too, right?
This is basically my test list for Canhammer, and we're gonna try to sneak some stuff in. So you're not allowed to post this until after Canhammer.
Oh, that's not.
I'm just kidding.
So in that, I want to say a huge shout out to Mini Wargaming. Oh, Mini Wargaming.
Mini Wargaming. I'm Mini Wargaming Mark.
That's
Master Mark.
Thank you so much for letting us use the studio. Huge shout out to all the channel Patreons, without whom none of this would be possible. And we'll put the head. There you go. Wow. There you go. Other than that, I've been Skari. Your grateful host signing off until next time.
Bye.
Skari out. The Dark Kid.
The Dark Kid.
There you go. Bye.